Have you ever struggled with consistency? Or here are three things I do to stay on track because I know just how hard it is to stay consistent. The first thing I do is I make sure I keep it simple. I mean, let's be honest. The more complex things get, the harder it is to do them. And while we may love complexity, it just makes everything more difficult. Now you got to do three things instead of one. So the first thing I do is keep it as simple as possible, at least initially, because as time goes on, you can add things to it. But the first thing we want to do is just get it done and get it done frequently. So that's the first thing. The second thing I do is I keep it a priority, meaning I keep the main thing. Because being consistent, putting out videos, taking walks is important to me, I make sure I get that done. If I do nothing else that day, that's something I get done because I'm trying to build the habit of being consistent. So if I were to just like let things happen, meaning I'll get to it, it's something I got to do, but I'll get to it, it might not happen on some days because it was the last thing I did versus the first. Or I hadn't set aside a specific time of day when I'm going to do it. Something that you can do is if you actually block out time to do a particular task. So if you were going to go to the gym, a lot of people go in the morning. So let's say you knew that you were going to go to the gym at 5 a.m. So that means you got to wake up at 4:30 to get to the gym. So you know that between the time of 4:30 a.m. to let's say 6:30, that's your gym time. That's when you're going to get it taken care of. So you've got that blocked out. The other thing that you have going on there is that you're starting at the beginning of the day. I find that I will have more control of my day in the beginning of the day, and then I have control at the end of the day. That in between time, let's say between 9 o'clock to 9 to 9, I don't have as much control of that time because that's when everyone else is awake. That's when my job is awake. That's when people can call and I have to be responsive to those other responsibilities. But up until about 9 o'clock, that's all me. After 9 o'clock, that's pretty much me. So that's something else that's happening. And the third thing I do, and this you can only do after you've got it started. So you've started your habit, you've been going off of willpower, you're keeping it simple, you've blocked aside time, it's a priority, but you're still going off of what you like, just got to make sure it happens through sheer strength of will. Okay. So you've got a few of those in your belt. Like you've done a few, you've done maybe 5 workouts, you've taken 3 walks, you've taken 10 walks. Okay. So the next thing I do, or the last thing I do, I always think about is what would happen if I stopped? If I stopped doing what I'm doing? That would mean that all of the past effort that I put into creating this habit, that I put into building a body, that I've pulled into getting better at recording videos is lost because I stopped. So I just kind of guilt myself into that. And that's like, I don't know what that would look like. I'm not at a point where I can really take a break and then come back to it because it's not quite 100%, meaning it's not 100%, it's not 100% part of my identity yet. So those are the 3 things I do. Keep it simple, keep it a priority, setting aside time, blocking out time for the activity. And then there's always that wonderful guilt. If I stop, what would it look like? Why did I ever start? What are some things that you're working on to stay consistent? If you have anything you want to share, just put it in the comment. That's all I got for now.